Hey, what's going on, guys? Let's do another magazine review here today. We're taking a look at the January 2021 issue of Hobby Japan. I don't really buy a lot of Hobby Japan magazines, and I've talked about this in the past. I don't really like monthly magazines because there's some cool stuff, usually like the front third of the magazine, and usually like the second third is just all advertisements for new products and stuff coming out, and then the back third is like just all their random advertisements and stuff for things that I really have no interest in. So I usually don't really buy them. But the January issue is always special because it's the Ora-Zaku competition issue where they'll have the winner on the front is the winner of the Ora-Zaku competition. It's a competition that's only there in Japan, so sort of similar to GBWC, but only in Japan. And the competition is, I would say, at least the same, if not more talent kind of on display in the Ora-Zaku competition. Is pretty insane, the entries that you'll see in here for this competition. It's really awesome. As always, the January issue is packed with all of the entries from the competition. They'll put all the entries in there, and they'll have like obviously the ones that finish more towards the top will have larger photos or multiple photos. We'll go through everything here in just a second, but yeah. The winner of the competition is always on the front. And so this is the January 2021. On a side note, I do also have the January 2020 and the January 2019 issues as well that I've not yet reviewed for you guys. So if you would like to see those ones from the past, let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll also take a look at those. I mean, older, but there's still lots of cool stuff in there. So, I mean, it's definitely worth taking a look at, I think. Now, this issue also comes with this other little booklet here, which is basically from the All Japan Model and Hobby Show 2020. All the new products and stuff that were on display are, I guess, yeah, everything from that. So we'll take a look at that stuff here in a bit, but let's just take a look here at all the Ora-Zaku fun stuff here. First off, the winner with this Kshatriya, I believe, I'm gonna not remember this correctly, I'm sure, but I believe he was from China in this case. Right here on the front cover, just some other new products and things coming from some different companies, all kind of like figure-related stuff. Seems like a lot of limited edition kind of things, and that here's a Alice Gear Aegis advertisement here in collaboration with the Project Tokyo Dolls over here, and these would be Kotobukiya kits, and then the Desktop Army kit, Desktop Army figure of the Shitara Kanashiya Tenki there. Alright, YouTube movie, you can check this out on YouTube, some different stuff, a video review of the Ora-Zaku winner, obsolete, some just recommended stuff to watch on YouTube related to some stuff that's in the magazine this month. So here's the table of contents and advertisement over here for some new specialty line paints from Gaia Notes. So you got the Aura Battler Dumbine paints, the Zabungle paints, and some Hexagear paints. So it's just some specialty paints from Gaia Notes. Always love those. And then we're into it for the 23rd annual All Japan Ora-Zaku Championship here. So I guess these are the categories. You got Gunpla, Build Divers, specifically, SD Gundam, RX-78, and Junior. That's ages 15 and under. So the Kshatriya, it's really super cool. There's certain parts of the design of this custom-built Kshatriya that I don't necessarily like. We'll talk about that when we see some more of the photos. But it is, of course, obviously amazingly well done. No doubt about that. And he sculpted a 1/20 scale pilot figure there of Marita Cruz. So that is amazing. It looks so cool. And so this one, you can see it got to 96 points was the score for this. And the winner gets 300,000 Japanese yen as well too, so it's like around $3,000. Not too bad. So you can see it's just a really tricked out Kshatriya build here with some cool separation, adding details, subtracting details, things like that here and there. You guys can see all through that. You can see like for inside the binders there, he's added like frame parts from the Master Grade Ball, for example. The connection parts, and maybe we'll see on another image here, it's kind of hard to see. The connection parts for adding the binders to the top of the arms are using what look to be, I'm pretty sure, are legs from some Master Grade 2.0 Zaku. That frame is pretty recognizable. So that's like frame parts from the Zaku 2.0 Master Grade frame, pretty sure. So what he's using there for the connection parts to the top of the shoulders. So obviously very beefy kit here. Just the painting and weathering on it is fantastic as well too. The painting just looks so nice, and I know like you guys, you can't see it quite as well as what I can see here looking at this in person, but I would definitely recommend you guys to check out some photographs of this kit. Here we got some work in progress photos of it as well too. That's cool to see. So you can see the binders are actually a combination of Nightingale parts and the kind of cut up parts of the Kshatriya binder, and then just kind of putty it all in and then just sand it all down to get the cool new shape for that. And for the chest as well too, just like cutting and expanding out all the parts of the chest, just basically kind of took everything and just kind of beefed it all up. The legs are obviously much more beefy there as well too. So over here in this work in progress photo, it looks like basically what he's done is taken the binder. So he made one binder and then cast it, and then so you can see there's just resin cast there for the binders. So he didn't actually have to make 4 of them. You just make one and then cast it. So pretty smart thinking on that, and using a combination of a bunch of different parts there for the legs. So I don't know, there's a lot of stuff going on there between all those parts. But yeah, the other thing that was, as I mentioned before, I don't necessarily really like about this build is that how everything's kind of beefed up, but the arms don't really look necessarily all that beefed up. The arms look, for the most part, pretty standard. And you don't really notice once everything's all on there, but if you just look at it more closely and you see like how small the arms look compared to all the rest of the body, it just looks a bit weird. And the hands are really large, so it's got these massive hands, massive body, and then kind of tiny little arms in between. It looks a bit odd, in my opinion, but it's, it's a small thing to nitpick about obviously an amazing build. The next one we're taking a look at here is the Gundam and RX-78's 160 scale Gundam kit here. This is using the old 160 scale kit, so here you can see a comparison between just the stock kit straight out of the box and his modeled version here, which is quite interesting that this won second place, because in the 2020 competition, the first place winner was a 160 scale RX-78-2 based off of the old 160 scale kit. So it's kind of funny that this one, almost the same model, almost won 2 years in a row. And it's just really a shame how much work it would take to check the translation for all this being in Japanese as a non-Japanese speaker. There's obviously, I'm sure, lots of really cool information in here about the model. I don't know if this is written by the modeler or what. I would guess that it is. I would guess that this text is written by the modeler. It looks like it anyway. This is a super nicely modeled version of the RX-72 here. So it's just one of those examples where, you don't have to make something like super crazy like that with tons of, very obvious modifications to stuff. All these kit bashing parts and things like that, all this doing something crazy. You can do something super simple looking on the outside. I don't want to oversimplify it, but I mean, just obviously in comparison, it looks very simple to something compared like that, but there's still a ton of work that goes into making a model that looks as good as this as well too, even though it looks kind of simple on the outside. I think unfortunately no work in progress photos for this, but I'm sure there's probably, you can find some more online, but it does look really cool. And in third place here, or let's see, these are both, oh yeah, this is beat it out barely, 87 points versus this is 86 points. Really wild design here. The Rosenziel, as it's being called, it's basically a combination of a lot of stuff. But I mean, obviously, it looks a little bit like the new Zeal, but in purple, pinkish colors, and it's got the sleeves logo on there. So it's supposed to look like, I guess, something that Angelo Sopper would pilot. But it's pretty crazy, and it's a really weird mix of parts. It's pretty wild, but I mean, and I've seen this one in person too. This was pretty impressive. But I just love how he's got all these big, massive shapes, but just these really fine, nice, neat little panel lines around on there just to kind of break it up. But it does look really nice. The combination of a few different colors of pink and purple and blue on there do look really quite nice. And all the little details you can see, especially if you look at it like from the back, you can see all the little thruster details and everything in there. It does look quite cool. All right, next we have an SD winner here. Don't know what kit this is based off of, but obviously it's one of the Musha kits, and it does look pretty impressive as well too. Just super nicely painted, just really nicely modeled here and everything as well too. This one is really cool too, just because it's so unique. It's an unbuilt model, but he built it like this. I would love to see some work in progress photos of this. Well, unfortunately, what he did was he made this to look like just a kit just straight out the box. So I think over here is showing like the original runners. Here it was just the 2, and so it's based off of the RX-72 kit here, which is in what scale? Let me see. Yeah, 1/44 scale. So the old 1/44 scale Gundam, but just changed the parts and had to scratch build some parts and everything like that, and like basically like put them back onto a runner. So it's just a super insane creative idea, and making this box art for it, that's just all in the manual. It's just something that he made as just all a part of this. So it's pretty amazing. And like the face and head parts, I mean, all these parts on there, you can just see the comparison to the runners. So like some of the parts he kept like on the same basic kind of basic position and everything, but some parts are moved around, and you just got looking super cool. And then the weapons parts and things are added over here. It's pretty amazing. So creative. I love it. Okay, there's a lot of stuff to get through, so I'm going to try to not spend so much time on everything here, but some more Gunpla entries over here, some of the top scoring ones. Really great 8th MS team themed one over here with the hover tank and the Zaku head, just hard graph themed model over here. We've got that super realistic hard graph style. Down here to a gym on one of the transport trucks. That looks really awesome as well. That is what scale? That's 144 scale too. Yeah, very cool. Over here, a couple of the Build Divers entries. So this custom model Cubile one, which is pretty wild. And then this one actually is one that we saw on an episode of Plamano Trend fairly recently from Ririto, the Star Vibrabe. Anyway, yeah, it's really cool. All these like kind of dragoon looking things on the back are all transformable little things that come off and can be like on their own. Very cool. A couple more SD winners over here. This really super awesome looking SD Psycho Gundam. That looks pretty awesome. A couple of ones down here in that more cutesy SD style with Sazabi and At-Guy with the flag and guitar and all that fun stuff. Here, yes, the RX-782 just modeled to look like it's on the box art, but it's actually three-dimensional, so it's got the box in the background, but the model is in front of the box. Anyway, yeah, so here it is down here. There's a little photo comparing the actual box art compared to his recreation of that in 3D. It's pretty awesome down there as well, too. Here's from the RX-78 competition. Oh, that one as well, too. That's from the RX-78. Oh, too. And this one, just going back to here. Oh, okay, I was just wondering about this one, if this was in the RX-782 category. Well, it's not, it's just in the Gunpla category. This one is in the Build Divers category, interestingly enough. So I wonder if they're assigned, or if when people submit their entries, they submit it to a certain category, because this one as well is part of the RX-782 one, because it's based off of an RX-782 kit. So anyway, pretty cool diorama scene here with this custom RX-782 wearing like a face mask, it looks like, kind of thing, slashing at this Zigok, blasting up out of the water. Another hard graph tank kit here, and this is a junior entry, so I think this is the first junior one we've seen, right? So this must be the winner of the junior category, but pretty amazing weathering and modeling on that tank hard graph kit there. A couple other junior entries down here, a custom kit bash, like kind of Hammurabi looking one, a Bawu here. So I guess those are all the winners of everything, and then it gets into all of the ones that didn't win anything, but they're just all in here. So like the higher point ones have larger photos, and then once we get into a little bit later on, once the points are getting down lower, they've got them in much smaller photos here. But there's just going to be a ton of stuff, obviously, and I can't talk about everything, but there's a lot of stuff in here, and that's the great thing about getting these magazines, actually being able to have it in hand. You can take your time to actually look closely at some of these entries, and their names are all on here, so I assume that a lot of these modelers are probably on Twitter, so you can probably find them on Twitter by searching their names and stuff. So it gives like their like a nickname and name and age, and their points are all here. So like 70 points. Here's Yadon, it's probably one of my favorite modelers that I follow on Twitter. Amazing modeler there. Not all of these I recognize. Some of them I've seen before just around on Twitter. Like I said, because I do follow quite a few Japanese modelers around on Twitter, but there's always some in here that people are either not on Twitter, or just I don't follow them, or just new stuff. And there's always stuff to see, even if you do spend a lot of time lurking around all the cool stuff people are building on Twitter. So I'll go through this section, and just you can see this first couple pages there, it was all from just the Gunpla category. The next category is the Build Divers category that we're going through now here. So it's going to be kind of more that Build Divers sort of aesthetic with some of these winners here. And then the SD category, then SD Johnny Ridden's Zaku 2 there, looking very cool. Some of these are really, really awesome. I love that SD XX as well too. That's pretty awesome. A lot of really fantastic SD kits, and not being that big of an SD fan, there's some really cool, impressive ones. Then RX-782, got some amazing RX-782 builds here. It's looking like as well, not all that many, but there's some really cool ones. This like Dugram themed one up here, that's pretty awesome. And this sort of like skeletal looking one reminds me of the work that Win has done on some of his custom like skeleton models and stuff. And the junior category, got some junior winners here. It's really, really impressive ones in here, definitely. Then we get into part 2, which would be now the photos are smaller because the points are now less, and I think these ones don't give you the points. So these ones are maybe just for only above. Let's see, what's the lowest points score I can see on here? 59, 56. So basically, I don't know what the threshold is, but I'm sure they have to just select them based on how much space they have in here. So like this one, the lowest one's 60, for example. So basically around 50 points or below, I guess, is now then just put into these really tiny little photos. But there's still some pretty cool stuff to see. I mean, just because these are like in the lower half, or not even lower half, but there's a lower half of points range, I guess I should say, anyway. But in terms of just the actual number of kits, obviously the vast majority are going to be here in this section. But there's definitely still some cool stuff to see, and it still has the name of the model, or like the name of the model, and or just like the title or whatever. And it's got the modeler and the modeler's age and everything in here as well too. So you can see. I'm noticing not a ton of modelers in their 20s. They're all, for the most part, 30s and 40s, it seems like. Oh, there's a good mix, but definitely seems like 30s and 40s for the most part. But yeah, I mean, there's just, like I said, a lot of stuff in here. Very impressive. Yeah. And I gotta tell you guys, it just makes me have a lot of respect for the team at Hobby Japan that has to coordinate all of this. Just going through and judging all of these entries and then just curating all of this for the magazine is just gotta be a pretty daunting task. As you can see, there's just pages and pages of entries here. So it's pretty amazing. So I think that is just about it. And then here at the back, I think there'll probably be some talk. I believe this would be like some of the judges' like favorite entries. So yeah, maybe some of the judges involved, and they talk about just, I think, some of like their own personal favorite picks from there, I believe is what this section is. So you can see like some of them are repeated. Like for example, these couple of judges here both picked the winning one as one of their favorites, but you can see, obviously, because I can't read the kanji names, I don't know who some of these people are. But I do know this one up here is Katsumi Kawaguchi, pretty certain there. And then like Max Watanabe here, obviously, because of the Max there I can see. So a few different people also chose that new Gundam there as well, too, as one of their favorites. So that's really cool as well there, too. So, all right, this next section looks like Just a thing about photographing the model kits. So I think this is to do with like some new technology that they're using or just new way they're photographing the models for the magazine, something like that, I guess. Anyway, or just tips, something related to the photography. Let's move on to talking about the Perfect Grade Unleashed. Here, we've talked about that quite a lot, so we probably don't need to spend too much time on this. I've already unboxed it, live built it, and reviewed it already, so we've talked about the Perfect Grade. There's a comparison with the original Perfect Grade to the new Perfect Grade. Yada, yada, yada. We all know all about the new Perfect Grade at this point. Here's some Hathaway's Flash stuff, so you can see some illustrations for the Kasi Gundam and how that's going to be translated into the new HG, which looks very cool. That's going to be coming out in April, so still a little bit yet before that's coming out. Also the Converge version of that as well too. Very much looking forward to that. That'll be fun to detail up that Converge figure there as well too. Alright, then the Gundam Factory Yokohama, so a section about this, basically the model kits and some stuff available there. Vendor toys, I guess. Kind of cool little figures, I guess, or something that you can get there. Gundam GFY. I guess that's Gundam Factory Yokohama limited version. Little figures there. That's pretty cool. You got some apparel, stationery stuff, and then obviously the model kits and the toy, the figure, the Robot Spirits figure, and then the model kits, 100 scale and 144 scale. Not MG and HG, by the way. I see a lot of people online just referring to them as the MG and HG versions. Neither of them are labeled as HG or MG. They're just non-grade 100 scale and 144 scale, just on a side note. Alright, then we have the Wing Zero Verka here as well too, which looks very nicely modeled. Who is this modeled by? Kazuhiko Aikawa. Not familiar with him, but I'm sure I'm familiar with his work, probably. Just not necessarily the modeler. But it looks like pretty much straightforward model, very nicely modeled build here of the Wing Gundam, so not a whole lot in terms of like modifications or anything, custom colors, anything like that, but just some very nice modeling work done here on the Wing Gundam. I've just recently finished mine as well too, so I'll show you guys my kind of custom painted finished version of the new Master Grade Wing Gundam Zero EW Verka in the very near future, probably sometime within the next week or so. You guys will see that, but very nice work removing that seam line there on the back of the wings as well too. Congratulations on that. Interesting how he went for a flat surface along the edge of there. I rounded mine off. You know, it's just a, I guess, difference of opinion on the look of that, but that does actually look kind of nice if you would have kept it just flat, or if I would have just kept it flat like that, I guess. But this, you have to remember, this is, I think, just coming out. This magazine came out just around the same time as when the kit was coming out, too, so they had to put a big feature about that in here. And the Death Scythe, not a new model kit by any means, but just a nice big painted build of the Death Scythe here as well too, for whatever reason. I guess this is the Death Scythe, Gundam Death Scythe EW here, modeled by Runes. Looks really nice though. Just recently, I got the Death Scythe Hell EW kit that I want to build up and review for you guys in the very near future, so we'll take a look at that soon enough. But it's definitely a really nice looking kit. The Master Grade wing kits are really nice looking ones. So here we got to Gundam Forward. There is another different MOOC, Japanese magazine book that you can get here, a special issue, I guess maybe focusing on the new Wing Gundam. There it is. I thought about doing this. I almost did this using the new model kits. This is the new Wing Zero EW Verka kit with the wings of the old Verka kit. So I almost did that with mine. I really thought about doing that. He got rid of the angel wings though, and I guess gave those to the Talgis Flugel back there. But I was considering just like keeping the front wings and then just switching out the back wings for the old Verka. And it's cool to see that it works pretty well when in practice. But yeah, it looks nice. And then the Talgis Flugel back there. Still wonder if Bandai's ever going to make a Talgis Flugel kit. People have been making their own custom versions of that ever since like it's been around. So it's just I wonder when they're going to make an actual kit version of that, Bandai. I don't know. Over here, Hobby Japan Mechanics 07, just another advertisement for a different MOOC that's coming out, I guess, focused on 0087 to 88 Zeta Gundam storyline. Really nice looking Zeta build there as well, too. And of course, the Testament Gundam, the Master Grade Testament Gundam, which just recently released from Bandai as well, too. So here's a nice painted build by Sho Kawaguchi. Does look pretty awesome. It looks like a very, super fun kit to just play around with because it's very gimmick heavy with all the different the backpack and the claw and everything like that, so that would be pretty cool. A Jeddah, this if you guys are unfamiliar with this, it's like the moon version of the Jagan basically. This one modeled by Nozomu Nakai. This is a 144 scale scratch build, so I'm sure this is probably based on some parts of the 144 scale Jagan, but obviously a lot of scratch build going on here to make it so different looking. But it's a pretty cool design, the Jedi. I wonder if Bandai will ever make a kit version of this. I would venture to say probably not, but you know, fingers crossed, maybe someday they will. That would be pretty cool. I would enjoy that. Here's a couple more photographs of that. And again, you can see from the work in progress shot up there how he scratch built one side, and because it's symmetrical, he then just resin cast it and copied it for the other side rather than having to scratch build two sets. So you can see how some of those parts are resin parts that have just been recast. So very cool. All right, then we have a Hazenthei Ra 2 here, modeled by Rika. Super nice build here with a crazy big V-fin, a little bit different style V-fin from like the actual Canon one from the illustrations and everything, but it does look really nice. It's got that really nice light purple, or like dark purple and blue colors going on there. Beautiful build. Ah, yes, with the booster unit, of course, as well too. Got to have that. That's super awesome. So there's a look at kind of the work in progress of scratch building that V-fin. That looks cool, and just all the head parts and everything, modifications to the body. All that really nicely painted. Looks really nice. A Jim Cannon with the Rocket Bazooka here, modeled by Yashitaka Chotoku. This was a Premium Bandai HG The Origin kit. Again, looks really nicely detailed. One of the few versions of the HG The Origin Jim that I thought looked kind of cool. A lot of the HG The Origin Jim variants that they've put out, I haven't really been all that into, but this one did look quite nice. Yes, the ZakuAurelius suit. This one looks really cool. This one was modeled by Musuke. I've seen this around on Twitter, and it's pretty amazing. So it's basically taking the Build Diver Nami kit and then also kind of a ZakuAurelius, but just turning, I don't know what the model is this is based off of, the body, but it's a ZakuAurelius suit here. And it looks like actually most of the kit was 3D printed here actually, so that's pretty cool. It's certainly something silly, but I mean you have to be impressed by that as well too. It's pretty awesome. It's super well done and really nicely painted as well too. The colors are super nice on there. So yeah, as silly as it is, it looks amazing. Ah yes, the Gundam F91 version 2.0 kit here. Original planned version, so it's just in like a different colors here mostly. It looks amazing. I love this version of the F91 Gundam. It's just more white kind of basically. And it looks really, really nice. So this one here, modeled by Ikepon. Really, really cool here. This one as well, I believe, was a Art of Gundam special edition. It was a Tomino Exhibition, a limited exclusive kit that you could get, but then he, I guess, just did a nice modeling of that kit. But yeah, it's basically just like a more white version of the F91. It looks really nice. It's such a nice looking design for the F91 there, based off the 2.0 kit, which is fantastic as well too. If you guys are fans, definitely highly recommend you guys check out that kit if you never have. All right, the entry grade Gundam here. So it looks like we got some tips. A lot of times in these magazines too, you'll get little sections giving you some tips for modeling, and this one is focused on the entry grade Gundam. So you got down here about using Gundam markers, Pentaline, accent color. You got some paints, some glue, some tools that are going to be used for this. It's just for like a basic construction, seam line removal here, using some glue for removing the seam, removing the mold line there on the hands, and etc. And then just some basic painting on that, some masking on some of these parts just to get it looking nice. A pretty interesting way to fill in these parts there in the inside of the kind of joint caps, basically cutting out little pieces of masking tape, spraying the masking tape, and then sticking the masking tape in there. So basically making your own stickers here essentially for filling in those details. That's pretty cool. So you do all that and you get a pretty nice looking model kit, with the fairly minimal effort for that. So that's pretty awesome. It looks nice. And then a birthday cake version of the entry grade Gundam here. No, this is not the entry grade. This is the Revive Gundam, actually. The superior kit, in my opinion, just based off the looks of it, to be honest, and just kind of what you get included in the box and everything. I still believe that the Revive version is better looking and just a better in general kit than the Revive. Obviously, there's some advantages that the Revive kit has. So there's pros and cons, but if I had to recommend one, I would say get the Revive kit. But anyway, they're both great. The entry grade also really nice as well too. So you got a little bit manga over here, and then getting into some SD stuff. You got this really cool looking crazy crown on that SD kit. That's pretty wild. I'm not sure exactly what kit this is. This is from the BB Senshi line here, but that looks pretty insane. Of course, really super nicely painted and everything. All the details on that look really cool. The Gunpla catalog version HG Gunpla 40th anniversary. So that'll be another book that's also available, a separate MOOC that just kind of goes over, I guess, all the 40 years of HG kits, and it looks like there is going to be some custom builds and stuff included with that as well too. So just another MOOC that's also available. Here's some more techniques, things that you can do here with just some basic markers and things like that, some paints for doing some chipping, so just a little bit of tips on how to paint in some of the details on the HG Penelope kit, for example, and little kind of basic weathering techniques and things that you can do where you're not painting the entire kit, but just kind of using some simple tools and products just to get a pretty cool looking build there for that. Road to Gunpla 40th and beyond. Here is some nice builds of some old HG kits. So some old HG 144 scale Zaku kits, but painted up very nicely, or modeled like that. Gunpla new item information all about the RG Zeong. So obviously we know all about that now at this point as well too, but that looks fantastic. The metal build Gundam Astray gold frame Amatsumina, Princes of the Sky version. That looks pretty amazing. Super crazy design again, just with so many different gimmicks and everything involved with that. Fun models, the Exceed model, Zegox there, the new series of Gundam heads and capsule ball kits here. The Gundam Factory Yokohama little figures there you have available. Some new desktop army figures over here, and let's see what else we got. Some other advertisements, and getting into just basically the product portion of the magazine now. So new robot spirits things, version anime of the GP01, metal build, original color version of the F91 there as well too. Again, looks really nice. Converge, Alpha Azero here, and some other Gundam related products, fishing products, backpack here, Amuro's backpack you can get. Looks like it's a premium Bandai thing. Some t-shirts and stuff, and as always the poster, which on this side of the poster is a big massive photograph of the winner kit from the front of the magazine. And on the other side is your Ka signature poster here. This time it is the Hyakushiki, looking very cool there. So you got that Katoki artwork, super cool. Right here we got the Gundam fixed figuration, Zeta Gundam, and a little thing in there about the Hyakushiki. So all this metal robot Damashi Ka signature Zeta Gundam, also coming out. A bit about the hobby show. This is just an interview about the hobby show, I guess. Just some stuff about that. About the exoframe from Obsolete. So we got a number of these weapons, a number of these kits out so far, and some more on the way. Those are from the Modroid line from Max Factory. Some cool custom painted builds of those, or just of that one anyway. The Toad, I think was the name of that one. They're pretty interesting kits. A little bit expensive for, just the small little kit like that, but definitely a lot of fun to work on. So you got some really cool diorama modeling using those kits. I believe those are 1/35th scale, if I remember correctly. So that's kind of the general scale of these dioramas. Not going to be very big, But it's kind of cool. They got a whole section of a lot of different stuff about Obsolete here, and then some of the new. We got the Votam's Obsolete version coming out as well too. That's one of the ones that's on the way from the Motoroid line. And this crazy thing from Aoshima coming out, the Dogumak. I don't know what this is, what it's from, but it's pretty insane looking. Yeah, that's coming out from Aoshima. So also a new monthly deployer times. This one is this Dogram thing. Is this like a product, or is this just some custom made or 3D printed thing or something like that? If this, it's not very big. It's only like that big. Just this Dogram there with the sitting down with the hatch open. If this is like something that you can actually buy, that'd be pretty cool. Some Super Mini Pla stuff here. So we got a whole bunch of different weird stuff in the Super Mini Pla line, for example, and that's just continued on here into this stuff. The Getter Dragon, another new recent kit from Bandai. We got a whole bunch of information there about that, and this one as well too. I forget the name of this one offhand, but this pretty wild, weird looking clown robot. Aura Battler Dunbine or Surbine here. This is from the Plamax line as well too. So, I mean, the detail on these look pretty crazy if you're into that whole aesthetic. You got the new L game kits coming out from Bandai. Basically, the new Mark II, and then kind of reissues of the Mark 1 and some other old HGs in the line that I don't believe Bandai has produced for quite a while. You got the new Motoroid Ikaruga kit, which people have been asking me. I keep getting questions about this if I'm going to review it or not. I don't plan on getting and reviewing this kit, sorry to say, you guys, but it does look pretty wild. This Ikaruga kit here from Motoroid. So you got a whole bunch of nice photographs of that. Looks like it's got 6 arms, is that right? 6 arms on there to go crazy with. It looks like new Zoids kits here from Takara Tomy. Honestly, not that great looking compared to the Bandai ones, or compared to the Kotobukiya ones, I guess I should say. You got that new Eva figure that came out. That looked pretty impressive as well, too. I didn't see too much about it. The Dyna Action figure, but that was pretty awesome. High Metal R Frontline figure here. Then, what's this? Some Space Battleship Yamato. Interview there. More interviews, Next Edge style figures there. So you got some information interviewed about that. The new 30 minutes missions complete. I'm looking forward to this. This is a special edition MOOC as well too from Hobby Japan, where it's a MOOC all of 30 minutes mission stuff, and then with that you also get packaged this special pink version of the Alto included with that, and most importantly a set of decals as well. So you get this decal sheet as like what's going to be included with that special issue MOOC. So I have that on pre-order. Definitely plan to do a video on that once I get that in, but that's going to be awesome. It's it's a custom version, a color version of the Alto, not that big a deal. Obviously you can just paint the kit yourself, but the decals are what's going to be really cool to have that are included with that. All right, so some more stuff here. Some new Transformers figures there. Some Beast Wars stuff. I see some Beast Wars representation. Always happy about that. Some new Ultraman suit story stuff in here as well. Ultraman suit, Another Universe story. I believe this is just part of like a novelization of the story, basically, sort of. They're publishing in here. That looks pretty cool. The Darklops Zero, that's another cool design as well too. A new kit coming from Bandai, and you figure a standard line like that to brown, black, and silver color scheme for that. It does look really cool. So you got a bunch of different photos of that. And some more Hobby Japan news, not really sure what that's related to. Then we're getting into some armor stuff. Here is a Girls und Panzer tank there. We're taking a look at that. And a custom built here of the Frame Music Girl Miku kit from Kotobukiya. That looks really nice. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So you got some different photographs here of that, as well as some work in progress. I'm not really a Miku fan at all, but it's a really nice kit. Definitely the Frame Music Girl kit of Miku. So if you guys are Miku fans, definitely pick up that kit if you can get your hands on it. There's now been two, I think the third version of that kit just recently came out with the snow version. There was the original version, the Sakura version, and the snow version as well too. So definitely check it out. The Letitia kit also, or Letizia kit, I mean, depending on, I guess, which spelling version you go for of that. But that was also a nice Frame Arms Girl kit, just one of the more simple ones, obviously, like the Innocentia or the Materia. But here's some cool tips, I guess, about modeling that kit as well too. It's like removing some of the seam lines and stuff on the legs, for example. But yeah, and the Citadel color paints there used for that. That looks really nice. Alice Gear Aegis information. So yeah, we got new kits on the way from Kotobukiya, as well as new desktop army, and then a Figma over here as well too, all from Alice Gear Aegis. The new Sosai Shoujo Teien series from Kotobukiya as well. So I just recently did a review of the first kit in the line, but this is all about the second kit, which is this girl here with the shorter hair and glasses. And then not to P Bandai. I think in the review I said P Bandai, and a couple people mentioned that in the comments. Not P Bandai, of course, but Kotobukiya Online exclusive. There's an alt color version. There was an alt color version in pink of the first kit. In this, for the second release, there's an alt color version here on the Kotobukiya web shop that's in this yellow uniform there with blonde hair, for example. So that is going to be really cool. That's coming out when? That's also coming out in April. So just a very short time away. A new kit here in the Vlockers line, the Fiore Rose, I guess, from Volks. And this is like Volks Mecha Musume line, which does look pretty cool. You know, honestly, not really into this kind of style normally, but I mean, all modeled and painted up there, it does look really quite nice when done up well. So you got more images of that. The Vlockers line is pretty good. Not necessarily quite as good as Kotobukiya, but nothing is. So, I mean, as far as Mecha Musume kits go, they are pretty nice. Some 5-star story stuff over here. That looks pretty insane. This one also is a Volks kit there. Volks kits, I mean, not the easiest to get outside of Japan, but if you can get it. Here's some other new stuff. Character models coming out from Bandai and other companies here as well too. So for example, we have the new Figurized Labo kit of Asuka, some new Sakura Wars stuff, some new Macross stuff, Digimon, a new entry grade kit of Conan there, some new frame arms stuff up here, other Kotobukiya stuff, Transformers, got some new stuff from Hasegawa, and Pokepla down there. Once again, just the Volks products, and from Max Factory down there, for example, too. And what's this one here? Pretty cool looking mecha resin kit down there, which I guess is coming out from Volks as well, too. Over here, the MS General line, which I believe is the same as the Attack Girls line, or it's the different line, but that's in one of the two lines there of those new Mecha Musume kits from China. So it's cool to see those represented here in the magazine as well, too. This would be one of those new kits in that line, which does look pretty awesome there. Now some hobby photograph here. So once again, it's just a little kind of tips on photography. So that's cool to see. And then some other stuff just kind of going on in the hobby world. So here we also have about from Nomoken. You got some tips for painting. It's all about painting a car here, but I'm sure some of that stuff would be applicable. Some of these tips for painting would be applicable for your Gunpla or whatever else as well too. Machine and Krieger, here we have the Kuster and Friedrich, two recent releases from Wave. The Kuster, you guys have seen my finished one now, and then the Friedrich as well too is one that I'll have to work on in the future. But there you can see the team assembled down there, showing off some of these recent models from the Machine and Krieger line from Wave. So those are really cool. Some really nice color schemes painted on those. Man, I will have to pull that Friedrich kit out because I've got that. Haven't started working on it yet though, but that looks really nice. So that's looking really cool. And some other new stuff that's on the way, I guess, here. The Snowman patch version of the Luna Diver kit, which has also just recently been released, and I will be working on that in the future as well too. Basically after the Dachshund is my plan to work on that one. Got some new high quality tools here, super high quality tweezers here from Mono, it looks like, and then a pretty cool kaiju model here. What is this? I don't know exactly, but some pretty awesome photography here for that. It looks really cool. Again, I don't really know the background here for this, but this is Yoichi Komori and Koyokoyama, I guess, are the collaborating artists here behind this, or at least the interview here is between the two of them talking about this model, I guess, so that's pretty awesome. Again, would be really nice to see some translations for this stuff, but that looks like 3D printed, I guess, and then painted. And this one I've seen online. It's been posted around. It's the Koyokoyama's illustration there of Ultraman. It looks really, really cool. And it's a shame it's just this tiny little image there, but it's a really beautiful painting. I've seen that posted on Facebook or something. Here we got some other kind of kaiju-looking monster-related stuff here. G-Works, again, not really something I'm very familiar with, I'm sorry to say. Godzilla here, obviously I know Godzilla. This is the 1999 version of Godzilla there. So again, I don't really know if these are resin kits, I believe, or what, just like kind of figures that you can get. Okay, this is a resin kit, it says there. Sorry. But all right, so we got some cheerleader stuff, baseball and cheerleader things. Again, not really gonna be my forte, so I'm just gonna skip over that. We have this kind of poster. I guess this is a poster thing you can pull out, or just this fold out page to see the full lineup of girl characters from this series. Yeah, there you go. So some more information about that. I got some truck models here, the realistic ones. These are from Italy, I don't know. Not from Italy, the country is what I'm trying to say, but all right, so there you go, some truck stuff. Yes. Okay. Trucks and trucks, trucks and trucks. Giga Space truck. Okay. It's a whole lot about trucks that I'm not interested in at all, so just kind of skimming through this stuff here, and some more trucks, a Viking truck there, some advertisements for some shelves you can get, and then some armor. You got a M4A2 Sherman, and some more tanks here. Some really nicely modeled tanks here, obviously, and all this stuff's just really nicely done. Of course, just I wanted to focus on the Gunpla and mecha kind of stuff mostly, so just gonna skim through this. But again, this is the reason why I don't usually buy these magazines, because a lot of this stuff is just not really to my taste. So just kind of wasted space for me. Got this Nipako printed car model there. That's pretty wild. Some construction equipment. Let's open the box. This was what was this kit? I remember seeing something about this kit. Anyway, it looked pretty cool. Some more real world military and car models, things like that, from some different companies, decals and stuff. Hobby Japan Extra is also, once again, another separate MOOC that they do. So they have a bunch of different signed publications that they put out. Extra is the one that's usually got kind of a little bit more different stuff in it. I guess this time it's focused on these kind of weird alien kind of models things. So these are just different sculpted stuff. Some Kamen Rider toys and some other different toys and figures kind of things that are also coming out, it looks like, here in this section. Some stuff from Square Enix, their new line of kits, their new series of kits from Xenogears. I didn't get those, but those do look pretty interesting as well. There you got some Nier stuff. So these are the Xenogears kits that are coming out there from Square Enix. From Medicom Toy, you got some Banksy designs there on those. Those are pretty cool. Astro Boy, Batman, Diaclone World. Here from Kyoto, some new stuff, glow-in-the-dark skeleton. These Evangelion themed figures here, these are from Wonderfest. They're the Wonderfest characters, so every year they have like a model, resin model versions of the Wonderfest characters, I think, or something like that someone will do. But it looks like they're 3D resin printed in this case, and they look really nice. I would love to get a set of this, but you can see here that's going to be 18,000 yen, so, $180 for that, which is actually not, for as far as like resin kits go, that's not that bad for a set of two, and I believe that is for the set of two, I would hope, not for just one. Yeah, I think that is for the set of both of them, so pretty expensive, no doubt, but they look really nice. I do really like the versions for those this year. Here's a little bit about eBay. eBay, as I understand it, just kind of failed in Japan because of other secondhand markets and shops and stuff that were pretty well established already. It's got some other just kind of other random stuff here towards the end for some other new products and things coming out from some different companies. These are maybe, I want to say some of these might be UFO toys, but I think actually maybe not. Anyway, stuff from like prize grabber machines. Yeah, I don't think so, but there are other different just PVC figures and things like that. Here's one of Asuka that does look pretty nice there. And some other different characters. Most of this stuff I'm just completely unfamiliar with. It's all this kind of stuff. Got some more interview stuff here about figures and some more dolls and figures and stuff. Character figures stuff. Anyway, that's, I think, going to pretty much be it. The last few pages, this last section is just kind of all in black and white, and it's just more advertisements for just different things. And usually there's some information about different groups and stuff back here as well too. And just all this kind of information. There's a cool illustration there of a Bondoc. But I mean, if you're well deep, and especially if you're living in Japan and well deep into this stuff, then some of that information might be cool for you. But let's just go ahead, and I know this video is already getting pretty long, but obviously a lot of stuff in there. Let's just go ahead and take a look at this too. And like I said, this is basically just a book version of the All Japan Model and Hobby Show. It's just all the new products and stuff coming out from the different companies. So we'll just go through some of the basic stuff of this, the interview with those guys we saw in the main magazine. So, and it just kind of starts off right off the bat with Bandai just flexing on everyone else with their new Perfect Grade, the new RG, and the new Entry Grade, all fantastic feats of modeling on Bandai's part. Then the new RG Ava kit, some Figurize kits there, and Kamen Rider and other Entry Grade kits there. Then Kotobukiya, some new things on the way from Kotobukiya, Mecha Musume, the new Architect Frame Arms Girl there, the Nipako crossover one there, new Megami device, and new Mecha kits here, things on the way from Kotobukiya. Zoid stuff on the way from Kotobukiya, the new 135th scale Nachin tank, on the way from Kotobukiya as well too. Metabots down there I can see as well. From Wave, got some new stuff on the way here from Wave. In the mecha and other just kind of sci-fi aircraft, that sort of thing. It looks like some new kind of Tachikoma tank that's on the way as well, which looks pretty cool. Let's check that out. Doyusha, it's another model company that makes this kind of all sorts of different random things as well too. So pretty interesting looking kind of tool there, I guess. Looks like colors here, paints from GSI Krios. Looks like we got some aqueous surfacer in gray and white, so water-based. That'd be not lacquer, but just acrylic-based surfacer. There, some new Mr. Color Lasvis paints there. Those are for painting skin tones and stuff. So you got some new colors coming out in that line, as well as some new Gundam markers there, it looks like, and a new 1500 surfacer pink. So I believe was pink not available in 1500 before? Maybe not. Maybe it was only in 1000 or 1200 or something, but maybe 1500 is new for that. Got some new paints in the Mr. Weathering color line down there as well too. Looks like ochre soil, matte umber, and shade brown. Some new tools here as well too. A new compressor, linear compressor, and a router too, which looks pretty nice. And some bases. These look really nice and very cheap, very inexpensive too. Like this simple one here is just 300 yen, like $3. This tall square one and round one are just 500 yen each, and the large size ones there are 700 yen each. So not bad for the pricing on those. So that's actually quite cool. Definitely have to pick up some of those. New stuff here from Tamiya. Car models and things. Obviously Tamiya makes mostly real world model stuff like that. And then from Hasegawa's got some new spaceship models, and from Crusher Joe and the new Mechatro models there as well too, and new car models, and the Dachshund kit here, all from Hasegawa. And then Aoshima's new models here, including some pretty wild stuff there. And these would be like figures and things as well too. Platts, airplane models, car models, things like that. And then Girls in Panzer resin figures there. Fine molds. So you got your fine molds, aircraft, ship models, all that. Tomitech, let's see, Pit Road. Some of these other model kit companies making this stuff a little bit less familiar for us. Of course, all the little armory stuff here from Tomitech as well too. So you got plenty of that. Hobby Base, which makes the different joints and things like that. They also make these 1/12 scale figures, kind of like base figures there. Micro Ace for some trains. Kyosho. So all these different model companies are getting to the smaller model companies here. Crown Model, making model guns. Hobby Japan stuff here. Hobby Japan, there's that mecha model we saw before. It's going to be a resin kit. Good Smile Company, then with some cool stuff on the way. A-Zone International, and then over here, Kaviko. So Kaviko's new Scope Dogs kit, and it looks like new, what is this here? New waterside decal sets. It looks like they're going to be available for the Nachin tanks. That's very cool. And then the Smart Daughter kit that's on the way too, as well as a new version of the Raisin Panzer kit that's on the way as well too. So those all look, kind of all those I'm looking forward to. Those will be a lot of fun. A few more things here, as well as Gaia Notes. So we saw the new paints on the way from Gaia Notes. Those look really nice. And let's see, God Hand, some new God Hand brushes and tools over here. Plummo Kojo. We recently have reviewed a couple of those things there from Plummo Kojo. Got some new nippers and tools there from Mineshima, Agrophile, Japan, kind of a router bits and things like that you can use. Tik Takeda, with another interesting, cool tool pouch. That one actually looks quite nice as well. I like that. And etc., etc. Some more stuff in here. Basically got, again, just getting kind of smaller and smaller as far as the model kit companies go. So all this cool stuff here. Sankei, they make these like 3D paper models there from different Studio Ghibli scenes, things like that. All right, but I think that's really gonna kind of pretty much do it for us here. Got some last few things there, but I think that's kind of all that's really gonna be of too much interest for us for today. So let's just wrap it up for now. Anyway, that is gonna be it for today, guys. I hope that was just a good hangout session for us to just kind of go through some of this magazine. Like I said, this is the 2021 issue. I do also have the 2020 and the 2019 issues, as well as some other different magazines and stuff that I've got here on hand that I want to make videos for you guys in the future. But if you guys want to see, especially the Ora-Zaku issues of Hobby Japan, the past couple years ones, let me know down in the comment section below, and we'll take a look at those in the near future as well too. But for today, guys, thanks so much for watching. See y'all later. Bye bye.